It's much more laid back, much more casual.
The vibe here is just amazing. Everyone is chill. Everyone is relaxed.
There's no judgment here. This is really an open space where people just enjoy good food, good music, and really special people coming together.
This is a moment in Jewish history. The town of Tekoa has its roots in the Bible as the hometown of Amos the prophet and many other biblical figures. Today, it is a thriving township of over 4,000 people located in the Gush Etzion region south of Jerusalem. I visited Tekoa this past week for the 8th Tekoa Beer Festival. Almost 4,000 people from around the country attended the event, which featured locally brewed beers and other beverages, and famous Israeli singer Barry Sakharov. In addition to beer, there was a variety of food. Non-alcoholic beverages such as infused tea and health drinks were available as well. The following are some of my interviews with people at the event. Full disclosure, I did not actually drink any beer and gave away my free beer ticket.
I think this festival is a really nice departure. It just feels like a really great gateway to the summer. Everyone's free, and it's nice to be outside Jerusalem, and it's much more laid back, much more casual, and I think everyone's having a great time. I'm definitely swept up in it.
So many people, hundreds of people gathered for Barry Sakharov tonight from the center of the country, from Judea and Samaria, the north, the south, the east, the west. So many different local breweries have come out to showcase their different types of beers, and the vibe here is just amazing. Everyone is chill, everyone is relaxed. In my opinion, this is the event of the summer, nicer than any other festivals in any other parts of the country. A beautiful Gush Etzion breeze. You can't beat it, Ben.
And what are you drinking?
I'm drinking beer. What else am I drinking? I really don't know which kind. When you walk in here, you get 2 free tickets. So I just went to the shortest line, but it's delicious. Somewhere in that direction is a beautiful, beautiful tasting beer. And we're ready for Barry Sakharov to go on in about 30 minutes. So very excited.
What kind of food do you and your wife have?
We sell injera, Ethiopian food, popcorn, and hot dogs.
And how many years have you been coming to this?
Since the beginning.
Tell us something inspiring about the Gush.
Gush Etzion is amazing. Amazing people, really artists, and chinuch. That's the really place that brings people together.
So let's see, I think this is about my 5th time, actually. I will tell you something special about this festival. This is a festival of unity, really, from all over the Gush, even from Jerusalem. People come out here. There's no judgment here. This is really an open space where people just enjoy good food, good beer, obviously, good music, and really special people coming together.
And anything about Tekoa or Gush Etzion in general?
I would say back in the day, this was like a Tekoa festival. I wanted to give you one day to sort of understand what Tekoa was about, I would send you for a walk around the Wadi and then bring you to this festival at night. But it got bigger now. Now we're talking, we got a fraud here. We got the whole west of the Gush. The Westerners are moving east here to our side, but I would say that this is an ideal Tekoa, really, where everyone is doing their own thing and celebrating together.
And this is kind of a rural neighborhood as opposed to city life.
I feel like it's built up so much, though. Tekoa's gone way, it's still obviously out there, but...
They basically built the road to Jerusalem. Once that opened that up here, used to be you had to come here from Efrat. You had to go all the way out to Efrat and back around. Once they opened that corridor up, that changed everything, and I think that was the end of our rural days. I wasn't even there back then, but...
You said even Jerusalem. Don't you think many Jerusalemites are very supportive of...
Oh, 100%. But I just feel like Jerusalem has so many events of their own that there's a Jerusalem Beer Festival in Ganatzmo.
There's so different.
There's all that stuff going on that someone has to have a little extra push to come out here.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to add?
I'm just interested, Mr. Bresky, have you tried any of the beers yet?
No,
I like the mango one, but Akiva is really excellent.
So there's a local Akiva cider, which is for all the people who don't like beer. We have an option here. We got my friend Yitzi selling date beer for the gluten-free chevra. Sort of people who like sort of the alternative kind of things. Meanwhile, I'm going to go visit my Badayim friends and get some IPA, but loving the vibe, and I'm loving that Ben's here, Erica's here, my wife's here. It's all coming together.
After a great performance by Barry Sakharov, who played all his familiar hits, as well as opening act Nameless Faces, we headed back home, and on the way passed a sign for Nahal Tekoa, a hiking trail which leads to the Haritun Cave. Named for an early Christian monk, he escaped persecution and traveled to the land of Israel in the year 275. There, while in Jerusalem, he was abducted by bandits and taken to a cave south of Jerusalem. Tradition states that his kidnappers died by drinking wine that was poisoned by a snake. Haritun decided to stay in the cave, where he became a monk. There are two locations near Tekoa that could be the tomb of Amos the prophet. One is near the ruins of an old Byzantine church. This tradition dates back to the 1st century. Another site is an ancient burial cave which has now been filled with debris. Archaeologists in the 1800s discovered the ruins of houses, cisterns, and broken columns and building stones, some of which had beveled edges, which historians believed indicated Jewish origin. Discovered from the Byzantine period was an amulet etched on a silver plate written in Hebrew and Aramaic. In 1138, Tekoa was considered a Christian village. Muslims took over that year, and the Christians migrated to the nearby Haritun Cave. Rabbi Jacob, a student of the famous Rabbi Yechiel of Paris, researched ancient graves in Israel in the mid-1300s. He writes of an ancient grave in Tekoa. Rabbi Yitzhak Hilo, who visited the land of Israel in 1333, describes an ancient cave in Tekoa where one of the prophets is buried. Other biblical personalities from Tekoa included the wise woman who persuaded King David to pardon his rebellious son Absalom. Ira, the son of Ikesh, one of King David's mighty men, came from Tekoa. Today, in addition to the beer festival, there's also a Tu B'Av festival and a popular artists center. David Rudman, head of tourism for the Gush Etzion Regional Council, noted that the hill country of Judea mainly grew grapes. He explains that the Book of Ruth, which takes place mainly in Bethlehem, about 20 minutes from Tekoa, discusses Ruth working in the fields of barley. Rudman theorizes that the fields in which Ruth gleaned the barley took place where the beer festival is held today. The fields of Tekoa edge toward the desert near Mount Herodion. Because the area is warmer, it is not good for growing grapes, which need a higher and cooler climate. Tekoa, in the fields outside Bethlehem, which go down toward the desert of Judea, are ideal for wheat and barley, the ingredients used to make beer, he explained. So, did the ancient Judeans drink beer? This has been a moment in Jewish history. Thank you to Erica Shackney of the Jerusalem Post. Thank you to my travel companions. Thank you to Josh Haston. Thank you to all the listeners and subscribers. You can subscribe to my podcast at benbresky.substack.com. For questions or comments, email me at bbresky@gmail.com. Thank you for listening, and shalom.